And it's like, I can appreciate leveling things out so it's slower. And it's really made me think about RPG leveling in general. And I've kind of come to the conclusion that I generally find RPG leveling to be... I would much rather it be a bonus thing. Like, if you just played the game, zero grinding, you'd always be the right level. But if the game is too hard, then you should be able to grind to overcome the challenge where your own skill might not normally be able to carry you. Easy example, honestly, would actually be Pokemon. Like, yeah, for the most part, you actually can get through some of the OG Pokemon games with minimal grinding if you know what you're doing. I've seen more than enough speedruns to know that that's the case. The issue is, you know, that takes some serious, like, peak knowledge on how to play. And I'm not quite there properly. And yeah, you absolutely should be able to turn this sort of thing off. In fact, you should even be able to, like, scale it and stuff. And just be like, do I want all on the main Pokemon? Do I want it all on this Pokemon? Do I want it just, like, full spread? Do I want to turn it off? Do I only want it on one other Pokemon? You know, there's a bunch of different things that you could do. And I think that would work a lot better. But I never feel like you should have to grind to get ahead. There's a reason why I think the very first JRPG I ever played was Dragon Quest II. And that game is famous for how that game was famous for just how brutal the grind was, especially once you get to the last boss and it's just like beating Malroth and so on and so forth. And, oh shoot, what's his face? Orgon, there we go. Beating the two of them was miserable. It was difficult. You know, Malroth itself, I think, was like a super crit machine and just, like, wrecked you. I never even got that far, because just it was so slow and so painful. Let's see it wanders away, though. The older you get, the quicker you get bored of games, if there's a huge grind. Yeah. And I wonder if some part of it is, like, when you were younger, it seems more interesting to grind, and there's kind of an appeal to it. Let's see. Do we fight this guy? Yeah, we'll fight this guy with this pair. Should be okay. Oh, you're just... I'm not one of them. Oh, okay. Sorry, I've been hiding in the dark for so long. Are they gone? No, they're still around. I better stay hidden, then. I don't know who they are, and honestly, I don't care. I want to be left alone. One second I'm admiring this architectural marvel, and the next I have to run from some of those vandals. I'm fighting them. They're either brave or deluded, or both. That's probably more like it, but good luck anyway. These people give visitors a bad name. Wait, before you go, would you care for a spot of temtemming? I could use a distraction while I wait it out. My nerves are frayed. Sure. Alright, thanks. Yeah, just stick with roguelites now. You don't want lengthy RPGs anymore. I think there are certain lengthy RPGs where it kind of does work. Like, I actually really enjoyed Atelier Ryza recently, because you pretty much didn't need to grind in that game, and there was just, like, some built-in mechanics that you could abuse to just crank your power up and go even faster. Plus, it was straight-up gaming comfort food, which is quite nice. Let's see. Janky. Let's see. But, like, I've been playing Witcher 3 recently with Shell. That was fun. Now it's back to wait in the dark. I was playing Witcher 3 with Shell recently. Absolutely fantastic game. And I'm getting bored of it. Mainly just because it's very slow, and a lot of the things that you do is just kind of the same. I think that's more of an issue of game design than anything else, but still. Finally, help arrives. I'm not the help you were expecting. Oh, well, I hope they do send someone soon. It's no fun spending the whole day in here. I'm supposed to get down to Indigo Lake for the afternoon. You should get out of here. Not until the curator tells me it's safe to do so. I don't know this place very well, and I could get lost. Actually, I might already be lost. I'll wait for him. He can't just leave us here. Meanwhile, I wish we had someone to do some... Wait, what? I wish I had someone to do battle... Wait, to do some battle with and kill time. That's weird. Story of my life. You also have the problem that you get into a game until about 75%, then you want to finish it and move on. I get about to the 50% and I, like, super lose interest, which is harsh. But, like, my issue with The Witcher is there's only X number of enemy types in it, and a lot of the environments are just kind of like coastline with drowners, bog with hag, wraith, more wraith, lots of wraith. And then, like, there's the very occasional dungeon that I've gone into so far. And it's like, it's such a good game and I can feel that quality there. It's just, there's also this kind of feeling of like, man, you could have actually probably just made this a really linear game with all of this content, and it actually probably would have been just as good. Cool battle, yeah. Please let me know if you come across the curator. You mean the coward at the beginning? Probably. I don't know if I'm going to use those ethers. I am bad. Smoke bomb. Smoke bombs are nice. I almost kind of wish the smoke bomb... It'd be nice if you could get an infinite smoke bomb at some point that refills kind of like the vial. There's so many games where the fun is learning the game. Once you got it sorted, you're done with it. Yes, absolutely. That's part of the reason why I've been doing so many kind of, like, quick couple-offs recently. Like, there's a couple of games like this one that I'll kind of stick it through just because I enjoy it that much. Beta Burst. Oof. Let's get rid of Kick. We're not using Kick. But yeah, I really like that first couple hour feel where you're still learning and mastering the game. And the problem is once you hit that equilibrium of like knowing what you're doing, then it actually really does get boring. Because most games don't have enough interesting mechanics to carry it forward the entire way through. This is my spot. Wow, okay. Let's see, is Shell still playing? Yeah, she is still playing. Yeah, I think she's still playing. I'm fairly certain she's right behind me. I've seen her once or twice here. Beta Burst. Socket Scale. Let's see. And is dead. Bam! But, yeah, a couple of games I'll stick with. And there's a couple of games that really do feel like puzzles the entire way through. Oh, I guess he had more than just two. I thought it was just two, so I went all in. But nope. Wow, that was a bit of a mistake. That's fine. Hit the Lowally. Hit the other Lowally. We'll switch to, We'll probably switch to Janky or something. We'll see. Like, what are some games that really feel fresh and interesting the entire way through? RimWorld and Factorio are definitely games that feel like that. Yeah, let's switch to Janky here. Because with both of those, things kind of constantly keep you on your toes. You have some new mechanics and new toys to play with constantly. That really help. And they're just kind of generally puzzle games that you can really customize the experience, especially if you throw on mods. And a lot of other games don't quite get that. I'm trying to think of some other games that work accordingly. Let's see. Zap the Zooli. And Helldango that guy. Bap. That's not as much damage as I was going for. So you're really looking forward to Diablo 4 and Silksong. I am uninterested in Diablo nowadays. I think in general because there are... I like that move. That did not do nearly as much damage as I was hoping it would do. Anyway, I think for me, Diablo is one of those games that, like, I really want to like it, but the gameplay has not modernized in a way that I really enjoy. Whereas, I don't know how many of you guys saw Shell and my, let's see, what was it? It was Darksiders Genesis, if you saw that. But that is an absolutely fantastic game. That, admittedly, kind of niche just because a lot of people aren't super interested in Darksiders. But, like, that has such a perfect progression of, like, old-school Diablo feel, but with, like, an actually... You can actually, like, control and move around and hit stuff. And that feels really good to me, and I wish more Diablo-likes actually had that style of gameplay. Instead of, you know, more the top-down hack-and-slash beat-em-up than just click on things and press buttons, occasionally use special moves. Admittedly, playing Diablo 3 on a controller got close, but it wasn't quite there yet. Okay. You can have my loot. Just an old ceramic shard and a few dusty trinkets. Looting the place? That's none of your business, is it? I'm just making hay while the sun shines, or while the darkness holds. Wow, you're a dick. Seriously, though, Duskers. I tried playing Duskers. The visual design on Duskers is just absolutely miserable for me. I can't get into that kind of thing. It's also one of those where very much, like, my job depends on me playing games that appeal to people, question mark. And so, like, there are certain games that I will just kind of play regardless and just be like, you know what? I don't even care if this doesn't get views. I'm going to play it anyway. But there's a lot of other games, especially games that either run forever or run long, that it's just like, this is an underperforming series and it is going to drag me down forever. And that sucks. I had kind of a weird experience with that with Disco Elysium, where it was a game that came out and I was like the only person covering it, and I'm just like, holy shit, this game's amazing, why doesn't anybody know about this? And like the views were just absolutely in the pits, and I was just like, man, this sucks. Whatever, I'm just gonna keep playing because it's so good. And then it starts getting like all sorts of awards, and now the views are finally getting up to like quote-unquote acceptable levels. But there was just this, like, weird dichotomy between, like, game that I like and game that actually, like, keeps the bread on the table and stuff. Part of the reason why games like Temtem are stuff that I would consider fairly bread and butter, because it's familiar, but it's also, like, nice and engaging looking enough that people just click and watch regardless. Whereas, unfortunately, stuff like Duskers and Cogmines and Caves of Cud and Door in the Woods, and I can just list it off. I mean, even stuff like Path of Exile, for example. You really have to be a super fan of those series to even be interested in watching those. And most of the time, like, people won't give it the light of day no matter how hard I put effort into one of those series. So it's just kind of like, well, what can you do? Business! My favorite. Awakener. Not super useful. Wonder, what are your feelings on Terra? Ultimately, minimal feelings. Like I said, I'm super not interested in most MMOs just because they do keep you there for a while. I've heard good things about Terra, but it's hard for me to get into. Shell and I played it once. I think part of my issue with Terra is there was a lot of immediate fan service in terms of, like, bikini armor and whatnot. And no matter what, that's always going to be one of those things that, like, instantly puts me off of a game. Just because it feels like I'm... You know, it kind of breaks the immersion a little bit, I guess. You're not one of them Belsoto clanners. Are you with the dojo? Yup. I hope so, but I can't take your word for it. Show me how you've been taught to fight. So you also don't like you don't enjoy games where gender is tied to class. That feels really weird. Yeah, gender and race is definitely something that, like, probably shouldn't be tied to anything. It should just be like, cool, I am a blankety blank fighter. It's not like this can only be played, the gunner class can only be played by the little girl race. What? Why? No explanation. Ugh. Because then it's just weird. And I don't like that. Like, I'm fine with it being a potential thing that you can do with your character. I just don't want that to be forced. I want to have my giant dragon man rolling around with a cannon instead. Like, for those of you that play Monster Hunter, how pissed off would you be if you found out that only women can use longswords and dual blades, and only men can use gun lances and heavy bow guns? Like, it just would feel weird and shitty. And why? And so, I don't know. Stuff like that kind of messes with me with Terra and whatnot. I might play Terra 2 when it comes out, but I'm definitely going to be a little, like, about the experience. Let's see. So yeah, I'm talking about Terra the MMO. This is Temtem, which is also an MMO, but it's like a Pokemon MMO. I mean, it is straight up. It's a love letter to Pokemon. I'm not even gonna hide that. Yankee, get ready. Ow. Okay, switch to gas bag. And I guess Sparks? It's not going to do a whole lot of damage to him, but that's fine. So what is my take on Temtem now? So, unfortunately... Oh, that's frustrating. This fight's been going on for a while. Well, this is a good stopping point. Let's see if I can reconnect and if it'll put me back in the... if it'll put me back in the battle. If it puts me before the battle, I'll just consider this to be a sign that I should probably switch games. Anyway, so apart from this right here has been the only issue with this. Anyway. What was I going to say? Impressions on this game haven't really changed since I played the closed alpha, mainly because nothing has changed since the closed alpha, apart from making the game slightly more functional on my end. That said, this is a pretty solid game. I like the aesthetic. It's nice to see a Monster Collection game made by a higher budget team that isn't Game Freak, that has really put their heart and soul into it. And this is not something I've really experienced since... Oh, God damn it. Alright, we'll fight this guy and then we'll go from there. Guess I could have switched my team around, but whatever. Let's see. Yeah, disconnect as if on cue. Yeah. Alright, let's see. Let's switch away. Let's do janky, or gas bag instead. Okay, what was I gonna say, though? Quality of the game? I don't know. It's just a solid Pokemon clone. That's really all there is to say. I guess except for the fact that it does have co-op, and that, for me, is huge. There are not nearly enough co-op RPGs, Monster Collection, anythings, and so this is super, super good. Hey, thank you, Tannerlef, for the 1,000 bits. Kind of weird how we have almost completely opposite taste in games, and you're my favorite gaming YouTuber. Opposites attract! Okay, that's a little weird to say, but still. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everybody's got their preferences. But I'm glad you enjoy... Mine? Question mark? I don't know, let's just blast the Genki. But yes, thank you. That's what I was gonna say. And the game worked out so well for the rest of the night. I'm actually kind of shocked that we haven't run into any other problems so far. They really managed to fix whatever the heck was making things kind of bad. He's just got a bunch of Gankis. Okay, yeah. So my decision to switch to Nyx was a good one. Okay, let's just hit him with that. Sharp Leaf. This guy? That should be good. Let's see. Also, the Pokemon feels like the breeding system is an afterthought. This game feels like it's built around breeding and optimizing. I'm looking forward to that. I really like the fact that it has given me its, like, the stat system, right from the get-go. Seeing the SVs and stuff. I always hated that about Pokemon, where you look at their... You, like, find out about their IVs, and then also their nature, and you're like, oh my god, I have, like, the literal worst Gyarados ever. That's why this thing has been an absolute piece of garbage. And so actually having these statistics right here in my face feels really good. Obviously, still a bit of a pain, because then I have to go around trying to catch a good version. But, like, you really can tell with my Genki, for example, that it is a pretty damn good Genki. So you might be from the dojo after all. Whew. So do the new Pokemon game is give an easy way to see IV? Not really, no. Seems like we're allies then. Where's Sophia? We passed Sophia, you numbnuts. That's what I'm trying to find out. The dojo sent me to see what happened to her. Everyone was worried about her in Aerosola, and after the things I've seen in these runes, I guess they have a reason to be. Sophia's being kept downstairs. I can ask him where Sophia is and then tell him where Sophia is. What an absolute donk. You found Sophia? We have to find a way to free her. I've been spying on these people. They're leaders at the top of the tower. If anyone would have the key to Sophia's cell, it must be that woman. They call her Ladyship. I'll free her. You do that. I'll keep the rest of her minions distracted so you can find her alone. Good luck. When I was younger, I used to look down on people who didn't spend 8 hours a day grinding a game when it came out. Then you got a girlfriend and had a kid, and your perspective changed quite a bit. Yup. Admittedly, I have one of those two. I haven't done the whole kid thing yet, but, like, boy, when I have a kid, if and when I have a kid, my opinion on, like, grinding in games is going to probably evaporate. I'm just gonna have zero patience for it, and it's like, I could spend forever grinding in this game, or I could, like, do something enriching for my child. Already, it's super uncomfortable for me whenever I'm, like, doing grinding in a game. Because, you know, in this one, it's kind of fine, because, like, minor progress, and it's usually not too bad. What was a good example of a game where I had to grind, and it absolutely killed it for me? Lost Sphere. Yeah, that's one, kind of. Let's see. Let's do this and head back to the Temp Center. I really like the Tem Essence Vial. Them adding that to this game has just drastically changed the gameplay experience. It's so nice. Yeah, play games with your child. Yeah, to some degree. Though, I don't think I'd want my kid to get addicted to games in the same way that I have and did. Like, I'd rather have my kid learn how to draw or read a bunch of books first. Because the problem with video games is they're designed to keep you playing them forever. Books and drawing and writing have kind of more natural endpoints beyond just, like, obviously beating a video game. But it's like, the reason why I can get away with playing video games professionally is because I didn't just play video games professionally. Which sounds weird and backwards, but, like, how would I describe it? When I got into this is a hobby to distract me from my job. And, you know, obviously I put my all into it, but I wasn't just playing video games. I was marketing, I was making artwork, I was designing my channel, trying to figure out proper content, you know, targeted game releases and stuff. And, you know, obviously I've fallen into a bit of a pattern here. But there's a lot of people that are in the same industry as me that don't have the same skill set as I do, but are just as good, if not better at me than, better than me at, like, commentary. And so on and so forth. And it's one of those where it's like, I really do owe a lot of my, like, success purely to the fact that I had such a varied skill set going into this. And, yeah, sure, I actually am probably fairly entertaining. I feel like today I've mostly just been in kind of, like, off-topic rant bot. We're in podcast mode, but it's kind of hard to be, like, directly entertaining in a Pokemon-like. It'll probably be easier once we get Shell back and we can do the back and forth, but still. But I would like to do a podcast again. I don't know what it would be. The old podcast that we did was kind of rough because it was just kind of a bunch of like, let's talk about what I'm interested in. Okay, your turn's up. Let's talk about my thing. And it's just like, eh. But I don't know how to do it better. But I guess de facto podcast time while I'm playing a video game. Yeah, where is Shell right now? Put on pants! Shell's lost her voice a little bit, so we are just doing solo commentary to catch up to where we were at the end of the closed alpha, like the first wave, because this is not new content for me. I've just been doing the same thing over and over again. Let's see, didn't I want to stop this now? I was gonna get to the top of the tower. It would have been a convenient excuse if I hadn't gotten into the fight, but then I got back into the gameplay, and then it's just like, whatever, I'll stick with it. I kind of want to level up Ares, and what I'd like to do is get up to the top of the tower so that I can load this game up when I'm not streaming, and actually run around a little bit, trying to catch a Barnshee and a couple of the other, like, unique monsters in here. I actually don't think there are any other unique monsters other than the scales. I think I need the surfboard before I can get anything else, which is a bit of a tragedy, but still. Also, thank you, Maverick, for the sub, and welcome. So what other games are on the list for tonight? Well, that's actually part of the problem. So originally the plan is Shell and I were going to co-op through a bunch of this, and then do some let's tries of random indie games that have ended up in my my inbox, because boy, yeah, there's a lot of those. But if she's lost her voice, she hasn't lost her voice, it's just kind of raw. And she doesn't want to tax it, which is smart, because, like, for me, I don't really care if my voice gets, like, a little rawer, but she has such a beautiful singing voice that, like, yeah, that's super dangerous if she were to screw around with that at all. Shoot. I guess I'm just gonna go all in and try and hit the thing. It's not gonna do that much, I don't think. That was good enough. Ow. That's good enough. Yankees are hurty, though. Ugh. But yeah, so I would like to be able to run around and catch stuff. I like my Ho-Chick, but if I could go for like a peak Barnshee and then go for... When I play Monster Collection games, I will always try and go for dual types across the board. Just because I find it to be more interesting. So I'll probably switch my Ho-Chick out for something else. Speaking of switching it out, why don't we switch it for Janky for the time being, just because it got smacked around a bit. You're the one who's been attacking our men. Yup. Get ready to lose. But yeah, so because Shell's not here, I actually don't know what I'm going to do, so I'm kind of delaying that while I try and think of other games. But it's kind of hard because I'm thinking about other stuff instead as well. Anyway, I made a mistake, but that's okay. I will own it. Is it just me, or do scales suck? Like, I was kind of experiencing this in the closed alpha as well, but it really did feel like scales just don't do damage. Maybe it's just their immediate moveset at this point in time, but it's like, I barely hurt anything. Let's see, Ho-Chick is best to hold on to until you get a Kinu. Yeah, fair enough. They're good, you just have a bad one. Alright. I don't know. I also had a scale in the closed alpha too, and it just didn't feel good. Do we just go... Yeah, sure. Chain lightning. Just go all in. That probably wasn't the greatest. That's fine. Let's see. Sup, Cryers, and thanks for the raid. Howdy. Howdy. Isn't this, like, 4 a.m. for you? Aren't you supposed to be prepping for a jab? Okay, let's switch, because we're getting messed up a bit. Oops. Gasback's already joining the battle. Ah! So that's the Temtem training. Pretty good. I mean, this game is exactly how I was expecting it to turn out, which is pretty dang good. Still a little bit close to Pokemon, but still pretty good. 5 a.m. heading to bed. Go to sleep. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. Wait. Sharp... No, we want to do Sharp Leaf on the Genki. And Wind Burst on neither of them. Well, balls. Okay, Genki is arguably more dangerous. I'm just gonna peck this sucker. Not great damage, but that's okay. Oof, right, glass. Oh, that's fine. Glass's survival is not actually super important here. See, Scully is good if you've got Scavenger. I actually haven't looked at that. I'll have to give it a look-see. See, I don't want to play Rain World. I did! God, that game was rough. It's really cool, though, but... Oof. Oh, that solves that problem. We're beaten. Yes, I can see that, you dummy. Rain World is one of the first games that I had to eat comfort food in the middle of it to get through the game. Because, boy, was an experience. Okay.